Fernández, que estoy con un australiano radicado en Florida que vende vinos de California. Nathan, how are you? Great to have you in the show. Thanks for the chance.
Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to talk about an amazing winery that you represent, Mount Eden.
Mount Eden, yeah.
Tell us, before we get into the winery, what's an Aussie do in the States, selling wine, living in Florida, and then selling California wine? Tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I'm originally from Perth in Western Australia.
Yeah.
Margaret River is probably the most well-known wine growing region down there. I sort of got an interest for wine when I was studying for geology, doing geology work, and that's how I got paid to go to college. I worked in my uncle's winery.
We have that in common. That I told you that I got involved with wine while I was studying for the bar here. So
sure.
We weren't studying that much.
No. So that's how I worked in the vineyards, worked in the cellar door. So in Australia, I did more geology work, and then when I came to the US and I met my wife, I was traveling around the world surfing and being a vagabond Aussies traveling around.
We're gonna do some surfing here in Puerto Rico.
Sure, we'll go down to Rincon on Friday.
Beautiful.
After we finish tasting these wines.
It's a beautiful island all throughout. So tell us about this winery, Mount Eden.
So we've been in business about 30 years, and I work for American Estate Wines, and I cover the southeast of the US and the Caribbean.
That's the company you work for, American Estate Wines.
Yeah, and that's how most people know our company is more New Zealand and Australian wines. That's what we specialise. But the way George Gailey, the owner of the company, started was bringing really boutique wines that were unheard of into the New York and New Jersey market.
Right.
So we have Mount Eden, Sean Thackeray, Catherine Kennedy, some really boutique Foxen.
Yeah.
Some of the really small, minimalistic winemakers that small production, low yields, and Mount Eden is the most historic winery in California.
You know how I describe Mount Eden? It's a winery for wine geeks.
Yeah.
It really is. Because
this was a Frenchman, Paul Mason, who sort of started planting grapes in the late 1800s, and then Martin Ray came along, and it was originally called Martin Ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was partners brought in the 60s, and by the 70s they got rid of Martin Ray.
Oh God!
He spent 40 years
building the whole thing up,
and then it turned in 1976.
But he didn't do that bad, because eventually, he was very popular with his namesake winery.
There was no one doing Burgundian, single vineyard wines in the 1940s in California. So he was a visionary. He was, he did it all.
Listen, I told you a bit about wine. He wants to know if when you go surfing you get to meet a lot of girls. But I told him that you're married, so maybe you don't want to get into that, right?
Bold, fat, old. It doesn't help anymore.
Let's get into the wines. We have 3 wines. We have a Chardonnay, a Pinot Noir, and then the State Cab. Let's start with this one to see if we get the same sort of notes here.
Sure, so the estate Chardonnay is famous. This is the Domain, which is their newer property, which is about a mile away. Still high altitude, Santa Cruz Mountains. It's about, looks over Silicon Valley. So you're a lot above the cloud line here. And this is classic, more Burgundian style, big, heavy duty Chardonnay.
Yeah, you get a very ripe nose of apples, pears, white fruit. There's a light
nutty cashews.
There's a light touch of the barrel, the wood, the hint of the toasty note. It's a lovely nose.
Spends a lot of time in barrel, and then it spends another 2 years in bottle before they release the wine. So Mount Eden wines are really have a long life. Especially, they've probably got the longest life out of any Californian Chardonnay. How
long can this Chardonnay age?
15, 20 years. And I think that they're best around the 8-year, 10-year mark. They sort of start to get those secondary flavours. They get darker in colour. A lot of people think, that wine's gone off, it's oxidised, it's done, but it's just the colour, especially in the state wine.
You know what I get here? A little bit of a brown sugar, in a good way, not overbearing, but I get it right there in sort of like when you have this delicious dessert but it's got some lemon zest on top.
Yeah, I get a little bit of mint to it. And very mineral, this wine, because it's that slate up in those mountains.
It's like a solid of white
Not
fruits.
slate, no.
It's like a solid of white fruits drizzled with lemon zest or lime zest. It's just delicious. Cheers, man.
Glad you enjoy it.
So moving on to the Pinot. Before going to the nose of the wine, what can you tell us about this particular bottle, this particular wine? Sorry.
Well,
I
this
know
is,
that it got an amazing rating in Decanter.
right, we got a 5-star.
Yeah, a
Right.
couple of weeks ago.
So it's, again, 1 ton, 2 ton, very, that's 3 to 4 bunches per vine, very small berries.
It's just an explosion of deliciousness in the nose.
A lot of floral,
Yeah.
it's like rubbing there.
It's just amazing because you get tons of like pine, and you get obviously the candied cherries or
Sure.
the fruit that's very ripe. But at the same time, there are some herbal, spicy notes that just make the whole thing. It smells like Christmas. A little bit, right?
Christmas cake.
Yeah, it's
Do
just.
you get Christmas cake in Puerto Rico?
You know, we do.
In a tin, you
I
open it.
have this friend,
Right.
Roman. He's a sommelier, and
Right.
once I was trying to be pretentious, and I said, we were trying Pinot Noir. I said, "There's Christmas cake here." And I think it was in the middle of June or something, and he came to me and he said, "You snobbish, such and such. When was the last time you had Christmas cake?" But it does smell like Christmas.
Yeah, it's opening up a tin.
I think it's just a delicious nose. Let's see what's in here.
Very elegant. Great acidity.
Oh, Jesus. There's this very pleasant, bitter aftertaste
Right.
that makes it perfect to pair with food because it allows for the palate to mix with the food. So it'd be great to eat an eating wine to pair with food. And what are you getting?
Unfiltered. It's straight out of the barrel, so nothing added, nothing taken
It's
away.
like biting the fruit.
So what's that?
It's like biting the fruit.
Sure. So minimalistic winemaking. This is really just pure, high altitude, cool climate.
It's like pie filling. When you have that.
But you definitely get more of that cherry fruit, like not like the Central Coast where it's more that strawberry, raspberry sort of summer fruit. This is definitely more classical.
What's the difference, and this is something that would be very positive for our viewers, what's the difference between Pinot in, let's say, Sonoma vis-a-vis Pinot in Napa, which is obviously known for Cabernet, and then the Pinot that you have at the property?
Well, this is small production. There's nothing else like this in California because it's it's like the Cabernet. It's very not flabby. It's got crunchy acidity to it. So there's nothing really in California that compares to Santa Cruz Mountains. It's very distinctive. Very it's Martin Ray sort of found somewhere.
You can tell it's prime fruit. This is the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like the cream of the cream, as we say in Spanish, la crema de la crema.
It's 600 case production.
And as we were talking before the interview, here in Puerto Rico we get amazing prices. Este Pinot, ¿cuánto está más o menos? Este Pinot Noir. I think that last time I checked, I think this Pinot runs for around $44.
Yeah, I think they have it on around 39 or something at the moment.
And yeah, because of obviously you are here, they're gonna do an event for the friends of the store, and this is just amazing. And the Chardonnay I think runs for around $20-something, 26, 27, and this is very high end wine. This is very high end juice. Let's jump to the cab. Let's go to the cab.
Sure. The cab, I've had the cab out all day today, and it's just really, by the end of the day, it was tasting amazing.
So you've been going to different.
But it's a very different than a Napa Valley cab.
Totally.
This is the acidity. There's this underlying acidity to this Cabernet. Classic green tobacco leaf. Your classic
This to me is not, well, obviously it is, but it doesn't smell like California, at least to what I'm used to.
It's not 100% Cabernet. It has a little bit of Merlot and a little bit of Cab Franc in it. It used to be 100% Cabernet, but obviously, because he was very Burgundian and believed in single varietals.
And it feels powerful, but it's not heavy. You feel the concentration of the fruit, the textures, the intensity of flavor, but it's not overwhelming.
Right.
And it's not like when you go to the dentist and they put you under, you feel like your tongue is swallowed up.
It's very youthful still. This is an 06, and this will age a couple of decades. This wine,
and
this will go 20 years.
it's under the 14% alcohol mark,
which is
it's unheard of. It used to be the standard 20 years ago, 25 years ago, even before that. But nowadays you get this huge, massive, sort of like hulkish wines. But this is very elegant, and it doesn't feel flat or fat. You have some fat wines that after 2 or 3 glasses you're done. You just can't drink anymore.
And this is kept for 2 years in barrel, nearly 2 years, and then 2 years in bottle before it's released.
Okay.
So you can see how long before they,
We usually suggest wine food pairings to our friends. Going back to your Chardonnay, the Domaine Eden Chardonnay. What do you pair this wine with?
Well, I think at home, whenever I get, I don't drink it a lot because it's a high-end wine. I don't drink it every night of the week, but usually
you do drink every night.
Stone crab season in Florida, I do drink it. But
You're Australian.
I don't drink.
You're a surfer. You're Australian.
Yeah. I don't drink Mount Eden.
Okay.
Estate Chardonnay or Domaine Chardonnay every night.
Yeah, that's a luxury that's hard to afford.
But usually I like around stone crab season in Florida.
Okay.
I love at Christmas time. I always find an old bottle of Mount Eden Chardonnay and have a stone crab or with lobster or lobster bisque.
The creaminess.
Yeah.
It would go amazing.
But I love it with stone crab, just with some lemon and really aged. I had some O2s and O3s last year that were like brown in colour. They get that real nutty flavour and butterscotch flavours when they go to those secondary flavours.
Right.
But when they're younger, they're more lemon and lime and mineral. I think 10 years is a good mark to drink the estate line. But this can be drunk a little bit earlier. This is a Domaine.
So the Domaine Eden is sort of like the second label.
Second label. It's about a mile away. And it was bought by them in '87, but the vineyards were, planted. It was all based off Mount Eden, the previous owner.
In terms of
clones.
In terms of wine suggestions for the Pinot, this Pinot just blew my mind, blew me away. It's just so intense, so elegant, mineral, and that little sort of like hint of pleasant bitterness makes it just.
I always love my. With something gamey with Pinot, like duck or rabbit, or, this is a pretty classical French sort of style of Pinot.
What do you eat when you come to Puerto Rico? Arroz de habichuela,
you're
a surfer, so you've had like the fritters. You've had the local.
I've had the fritters, I like the. I've had the mofongo.
Okay, that's good. There, mofongo and churrasco with this cab.
Sure.
That'd be amazing, right?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's.
You're the typical.
I think the Pinot would be my choice for that. I think the Cabernet would be a bit big for mofongo.
Okay.
That banana and the Pinot's a little bit more versatile.
Yeah, Pinot.
I'll have to see. We might test it out after. You can take me out to dinner after.
Oh yeah, you're quick. You're very fast. They say I'm fast as well. So the cab. What do you put next to this delicious wine? It's like a wine to enjoy by itself, right?
Yeah, this is quintessential high-end cab. This could, obviously, I'd have me personally a rack of lamb with this wine, roasted vegetables,
Rack of lamb with some.
I know you Puerto Ricans don't eat lamb.
We have lamb. We're getting there. We eat
We grow up on lamb in Australia, and I never see it in Puerto Rico.
We
You
we eat a lot of
Pork.
we eat a lot of pork.
eat? Yeah.
For Christmas and Thanksgiving, we obviously do the.
That's what I want to do when I drive down to Rincon, is check out some of these rancheros.
So you come to Puerto Rico, you go surfing,
Drink wine.
drink wine, eat pork. It's a life.
Yeah. So
You
do you
always bring
suggest
wine.
anywhere I should stop when I'm heading down to
Yeah.
Rincon?
There are a couple of places that I can tell
Little
you.
shacks with a pig on the spit.
Yeah, but if you don't mention my name, I'm gonna kick you out. Well, thanks for the chance. It's been such an incredible opportunity, and we're gonna have you again in the program to do Australian wines.
Sure, we'll do some turkey flat or some Mount Difficulty from Central Tug.
Yeah,
That's really what I specialise in.
I'd be more than glad to share that. For you to share that with us. So thank you again. Thank you very much. Gracias por vernos, amigos. Recuerden suscribirse a la página. Recuerden dejarnos sus comentarios. Si tienen alguna pregunta, they can find you in Facebook as well, right?
Sure.
So
American Estate Wines.
yeah, we're gonna link up your information so they can approach you guys at the company and ask whatever questions they may have.
Sure.
And maybe they can give you tips on where to go mofongo diving, right? Gracias por vernos, amigos. Salud.